Good evening, everybody, and welcome to tonight's event. We're very pleased to have the new CEO, Rob Angus, with us, which we'll get to him and Vic at the moment. Just a few things. I don't know if you've seen on social media, but we have a new piece of merchandise today. This is going to be very quick that I'm going to show you. But if anybody wants to buy, they are in the shop. There we go. So let's get behind Clem and the boys, and they, as I say, they can be purchased from the shop and the supporters club. So enough of that one now. So thank you for joining us. Let's bring Vic on. Good evening, Vic.
Good evening to you, Chris. What a corking hat, if I might say so. Very good indeed.
We did have somebody on Facebook saying that they used to wear them, obviously in Australia, when she was a child going to primary school. So they are authentic. So.
Marvellous. Okay, wonderful. Well, they're required wearing for many Swindon fans, I would think.
Exactly, yes. And as I said, they are on sale. So hopefully we can get them out to the supporters before Saturday for the first game. So, okay, so let's bring on our new CEO, familiar face to most of us. Good evening, Rob. How are you?
Yeah, good. Thanks, Chris. Hello, Chris. Hello, Vic. Thanks for having me. Good to see you both.
Hi, Rob. Hi.
Very welcome. Very welcome. So if you have any questions for Rob, please leave them in the comments as normal, and we'll get through as many as we can. Just looking at the viewers at the moment, we have got a very high number, so I expect there will be a lot of questions, but we will get through as many as we can, we promise. Okay, so I'm going to leave you now, and I'll see you later. Okay, I think we've got a bit of a technical problem.
Frozen, but I'm back again, I think.
Oh, now. You're back again?
Am I back again now? Yes, I am. Hi, Rob. Yes. Yeah, we got a few internet problems down here in Devon. Yes, I'm back with you. So thank you very much, Steve, for joining us. And congratulations on your job. Pete Norris and the rest of the Supporters Club Committee send their very best wishes. I'd be intrigued to know how your life has changed. Has it changed in the last 2 weeks, say, your life?
It's changed quite a bit, Vic. Got busier, shall we say, as I'm still in the process of, leaving Nationwide and doing the STFC CEO job as well, which is sort of balancing that right now. And Nationwide have been great and very understanding, supportive as I transition roles. It's quite an increase in pace, shall we say, because where we start, starting with a number of issues and behind the curve in terms of start of the season. And, lots more engagement like this and, Sky Sports. I think we've got Sky Sports tomorrow morning at the training ground. They're seeing Clem and they're seeing Ben Garner and myself and Ben Chorley. So hopefully that will be on tomorrow morning on Sky Sports. So more media, more pace, lots more to do, longer hours. So, but we're really enjoying it, although I'm not sure my wife and family would say the same thing.
I was going to say, there's no home game this Saturday, which I'm guessing you're kind of relieved about in a way, aren't you?
Yeah, it is helpful, I think, in terms of, the team, at Swindon Town Football Club, the existing team that there before, Clement and I arrived, have done an amazing job, working, without being paid. And the way they've responded and helped to get things ready for the friendly last Saturday was amazing. But having that extra week, shall we say, before the game on the first home game on the 14th against Carlisle gives us an opportunity to fine tune things, get everything ready, and hopefully, with a bumper crowd for the opening game to welcome in, the new era under Clem's stewardship.
I mean, it was a wonderful atmosphere on Saturday. I think the great thing about it was we all were there for football and there was no other issue, if you see what I mean. Yeah. And the atmosphere was great. And I've got to congratulate you on the minute silence for Mike Spearman, much missed. And, of course, the 4th minute round of applause, which, in all the years I've been coming to the county ground, that was one of the most emotional minutes I can remember because it wasn't just the fans, the officials, the referee, the players, they all joined in, and it was beautifully observed, both the minute silence and the round of applause. And it was just another way of connecting with fans, wasn't it?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Mike, you know, what a servant for the club over 40 years. You know, vice chairman, chairman. You know, his involvement. You know, chairing the Swindon Town Community Foundation. Amazing sort of support for the football club, and that's properly, you know, respect. You know, an honorary life president. You know, as it ended up being. So it was great to provide, you know, that respect and acknowledgement of the great service that he's provided the club. So I'm glad that went down well, that it was really well observed, as you say. And then obviously the 4th minute, we wanted to do something proper for Alan McLaughlin, the playing legend of the club, and obviously running the academy for a number of years. So you know, and first time that fans have been back since Alan's sad passing. So again, a fitting tribute to Alan, who again another legend of the club. And I was there at Wembley in 1990 when he scored that winning goal, which we all thought would take us to the top division. But he was a great player for the club, and that, you know, and not just the playing career, but the service in the academy and more broadly. So it's fantastic to pay tribute to two great legends of our football club.
Yeah, many of us will remember Mike Spearman taking the trouble away games to come up and see the away fans, and that was always much appreciated. And Alan, well, just what a great bloke. Simple as that, really. Lots of questions coming in, but I just wanted to quickly get a bit of background on you, because obviously loads of questions you know people want to know the answer to, but quite quickly, if you don't mind, you're a lifelong fan. Well, not so far, because there's a lot to go, but you know, take the point I'm making. They're your club. Swindon's your club, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. So I moved to Swindon in the late 70s. I was about 4 years old. Up from Plymouth, actually, originally. So Devon, you're part of the world. It's where I was born.
Yeah.
Family wasn't from there, but we moved around a bit. Moved up to Swindon with my dad's job. Started getting into football in the early 80s. Went to my first Swindon game about 1982. You know, with a neighbour, I think, to the first game, and then I started badgering my dad, and I started becoming a regular under the Macari years, really, around about 85, 86. And, you know, Swindon, as I was growing up, I got into football more, and Swindon became my team. So I followed them regularly since 86. Been a season ticket holder for a number of years now, probably over coming up about 10 years or so. And I'm going regularly in the town in with my son, James, who's a you know, big Swindon Town fan, has really got into it, which has been great for me. So I've seen the ups and downs really from the 80s onwards, really.
I was going to say 82 wasn't a great spell, was it, for the club? It was demotion to what is now League Two, and financially, basically a mess. So we've been here before, haven't we, Rob?
We have, and look, you know, I remember that season went down when John Trollope was manager, and then I think the following year Ken Beamish was manager, and I remember as a kid being able to run around the Arkle stand because there were, you know, hardly anybody in there. So dark years. Obviously, we're back into League Two, but I think we've got optimism under a new era now. We can really get behind, you know, the team and the players on the pitch and take our clubs forwards. You know, we've got our club back. We'll engage. You know, we can build things back and have a similar renaissance than we had under Lou Macari in the mid 80s.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we got lots of questions coming in, as you'll imagine. Let's just quickly bring people up to date on the new signing, because they may not have seen this. I've been out all day, so I only just literally caught up on it. The FA Youth Cup winning captain, Kane Kessler-Hayden, who's very highly rated, I think, isn't he? He's a right-sided player, as far as I'm aware. So he's on a season's loan. That's
right. Yeah, he's joined us from Aston Villa. I think Ben Garner, our head coach, has got strong links with Miles Jedinak, who runs the under-23s, I think, at Villa. I think he's very highly rated, as you said. I think he's an England youth international. I think, you know, an exciting right-sided player. I think he can play either right back or right wing back. So I think he'll be a great signing. I've got a friend at Nationwide who's a Villa fan who messaged me earlier and said, you know, that's a great signing for Swindon. So that's some good feedback from someone who's a Villa fan. But hopefully, you know, he'll be one as a number as we bring in over the next week or two as we strengthen the squad going forwards.
Yeah, FA Youth Cup winning captain, of course, which I should have added. Okay, I'll briefly ask you about signings, and two names spring to mind. You'll know one of them I'm going to ask you about, a certain number 42, Got a standing ovation when he came off on Saturday. Anthony Grant, can you bring us up to speed? What's happening with him?
Well, he's in the building. He's training. He's working through. I leave the football matters to Ben Chorley and to Ben Garner. It's their calls. My job is to check to make sure that all the paperwork's right. That that we can afford it and it meets CFL sort of rules. But I know obviously you guys have seen as well. And we know that the support he's got with the club. But he's in the building. But very much the football matters are with the two Bens.
So are you preparing any paperwork anytime soon then?
There's always paperwork being prepared, Vic. Our club secretary is very busy.
Right, fair enough. Okay, and as I understand it, you have a certain limit on wages with the embargo that's currently on the club. Is that right, or am I being too simplistic?
No, you're right, Vic, and there have been numerous embargoes on the club. We think we've done pretty much everything to lift the embargo that makes restrictions on length of contract and length of loan. EFL said we've done everything that requires to be done on that one, which we've done in breakneck speed, and that was a number of things in terms of paying the players, repayment plans with HMRC, paying the council, and an agreement with the council going forwards, putting in financial forecasts for the club, etc. as well. So we've ticked a lot off there. There are restrictions that remain that relate to the £1 million interest-free loan that the club has from the Football League. We need to, and they restrict you on the amount of wages you can pay a week. So that restriction still applies at this sort of stage, and we're assessing that. Obviously, we're still finding things and issues, so we need to make sure that when we do repay that, we're clear of all of the legacy issues that we've inherited.
So that would be a factor in any possible signing of Anthony Grant, is basically what I'm getting into. Would that be right?
Those EFL restrictions, as well as the aim here is to build a sustainable football club and one that can progress and have a form of sustainability, so we can grow the club on the right sort of sound financial footing and infrastructure. So that will play a part.
Yeah, Akin Odemeyer is another one. He went off for a trial at Portsmouth. Is there a situation with him at the moment? Is that a possibility, as far as you know?
Well, again, I'll be able to defer to the two Bens. They, and I've got every confidence in their the management of and coaching skills of Ben Garner, and both Ben Chorley's talent spotting skills and getting the right talent in the building. But I'll have that one in front of me and review it and sign it, but very much leaving the football side of things to the two Bens. Keen to do that as well. Being a fan, I have an opinion, but I've got to put my CEO head on.
Moment either.
Oh no, you're back.
Yeah, I'm back. Nothing in paperwork for Akin Odemeyer either at the moment. Then in front of you to sign.
One for the two Bens to bring to me.
Okay, fair enough. Great. But good news, of course, Jack Payne has said that he wants to stay at Swindon, which is fantastic news, really. And I'm sure many people are very happy about that. Right, let's get on to stuff that you actually are concerned with. And many people are asking about on the website and in terms of booking tickets, season tickets, and things like that. And because, as you're aware, I mean, many of us don't live in Swindon, so getting tickets from the county ground is somewhat difficult. So what's the progress on the website in terms of being able to buy season tickets, things like that?
So at the moment, obviously, we've got the windows open. We're going to have phone lines going open tomorrow, so we're hoping to get those live as well. So that'll help those not living in Swindon. Online is more complicated and difficult, and I'll be really open as to why, Vic. So we aim to have an online option available hopefully middle of this week, maybe later this week. It will be a financing option, so it will be like the direct debit option. I think minimum of 3 payments or 9. That will be available online as well as the telephones. The issue we've got with getting car payments online is because of the financial credit history of the club, the assessment from the card acquirers and the risk they'll take has changed significantly. So it basically means that that they'll hold back the season ticket money and only release it as a game is played, if that makes sense, which doesn't really help the club's cash flow as we're trying to deal with the debts and issues we've inherited, and also as we try and build up the squad. So on that sort of basis, it's we've been working really hard to try and get them to relax that requirement, to hold back the money until the games are paid. I think the alternative is that they hold back £1 million of the, or we have to put £1 million up front. So therefore, until we can resolve those issues and they get a better handle on the future financial credibility of the club because of all the damage that's happened historically, and also because of issues with Bury that they've seen in the past, they've got a different risk approach to football than they would have had before. Until we can resolve those, the plan will be through the windows, through the telephone, and we're opening up, as I say, more lines tomorrow, and we should have the financing option online either midweek or later this week. But I want to be really open as to why that's the case.
Fair enough. So that's basically, people will be able to phone up from tomorrow then, and if
phone
they
up
live
from tomorrow, and look, the minimum of I think 3 payments from late in the week online. Over 3 months, we'll get that option open, and there's a 9-month option on there as well that people want to spread it a bit longer. We'll continue to work with the card acquiring companies, but obviously coming from Nationwide and my background there, I understand the risk they take on in terms of, if something does happen, then they're left with the liability, and because of what's happened with Bury and because of the historic financial issues at the club, they're not willing to carry that risk themselves. And therefore, either they're going to release the money much slower than we really need it, or for us to put up £1 million. And with money going out in terms of dealing with historic debt issues, paying people as we want to do going forwards, it's not something that we can really deal with right now. Hence, we're going down with the other options.
So, and also bearing in mind that there's no home game Saturday, that gives you a bit more time to work on that, I guess, as well, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. And look, match day tickets will start first for the following Saturday's game will be available, and they will be available online. The match day tickets will be available online because those card acquiring companies don't have the same risk exposure that they do with a season ticket, if that makes sense. So It's really all about the financial risk exposure of those card acquiring companies that we're dealing with. So match day tickets will be available online, but the issue is the season tickets and the amount that grows to. So the options for season tickets will be the windows, in the front and back of the town end, the phone lines, and that financing option, which should be available later this week.
And away tickets up until this season, you've been able to get away tickets from the club in advance, haven't you? At the moment, I think we have to go through the away team to get the tickets. Is that going to change anytime soon, as far as you know?
That will change as well. That's a legacy issue in terms of no sort of planning and infrastructure not being there, and obviously nothing being paid, etc. Until Clem and I got in the door a couple of weeks sort of back. That's the legacy issue there. So going forwards, you should be able to get away tickets from the club in the normal way.
Lovely. This is from Steve, who's a long-time Town fan. I've known him for a long, long time. I have a question for Rob on the Monday night panel. You may know the answer to this, but if not, I heard a comment somewhere that the catering on match days is owned by Jed McCrory's company. Now, many of us, I think, knew that there was a contract signed by a previous owner of the club, who we'll move on from, which meant that Jed McCrory had the contact for catering. Can you just clear that up? And is that still the case?
Well, I'm not sure about the historical legacy issues on that arrangement. I know there was an arrangement with the catering company. That arrangement has expired. So if you like, going forwards, the catering provided in the Legends Lounge and in the executive suites is provided by Swindon Town Football Club, and the staff have moved across to work for Swindon Town Football Club. We are doing an agreement with a local business, and I met Marie the other day in terms of supporting the kiosks. So it is that there aren't any, as I say, whether it was Jed's company or not, I don't know, but I know going forwards, the Legends and the suites, if you like, are with Swindon Town Football Club now. That any agreement has expired, and we've got a deal for this season on the kiosks with a local firm, which has really helped us out because again, coming a couple of weeks ago, there's only so much we can get up and ready for the 14th in the season and at the right sort of quality.
And I'm sure that's an ongoing process. You'll look at that and think,
yeah,
what we need to improve, all that kind of thing. And
absolutely. And I think the big difference, Vic, is we want to get people's feedback. If it's good and great, fantastic, but how can we improve it? How can we make it better? Obviously some things, going to take a bit longer to do than others. We're very much still firefighting right now, but we want people's feedback. We want to understand how we can improve things and make the match day experience much better.
Yeah, and as a vegetarian, can I throw in a cheeky comment and say make vegetarian options available? That would be much appreciated.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Got that one down. My wife's a vegetarian as well.
Lovely, that's very kind. Thank you. Right, lots coming in, so I won't hog it any more questions about my vegetarian options. I would say Dave, the chair, who you might well be aware of, is a long-time town fan. He's moved to Nottingham recently. And he's followed the town away and at home for many, many years. And most people know who he is. But he's been having terrible problems getting tickets at Scunthorpe. Now, he's been in touch with Swindon. Swindon have tried to get in touch with Scunthorpe, but they can't yet. He's hoping to hear more tomorrow. And I think his point is that in 2021, people with disabilities shouldn't really be having these problems. They should just be able to get a ticket like anybody else. He says one of the problems is that people who don't have disabilities are managing to get tickets that should be for people with disabilities. And how difficult is it now as a football club to make sure you can be fair to all fans? Because that's what you want, I'm sure. You don't want to be unfair to anybody.
No, absolutely. I want us to work really hard on our accessibility in the football club, that and that we provide really, really good facilities for all fans and very much for disabled fans. And we've already identified some improvements that Clem and the team are doing ahead of our first home game. Some issues with the facilities we've got, and we want to make some improvements over time. We did spot, the comments that Dave had put on social media, which was great. So we are in contact with Scunthorpe. We'll be chasing them up to make sure that Dave gets tickets for the game against Scunthorpe and try and encourage them to sort of improve the facilities there. Obviously, it's in their court, but we'll be doing everything we can. I spoke to the team earlier, and they're on to Scunthorpe, and we'll chase again tomorrow. So I'm sure we'll get that resolved. Our aim is to make the county ground really properly accessible for all, welcoming for all, and to improve the facilities we have for our disabled supporters.
Yeah, he was told recently he was a fire hazard at a Scunthorpe game, the one we won on the opening day of a couple of seasons ago, which is just not acceptable, is it, at all?
No, it's not acceptable.
No. Another point was brought up by an email to the Supporters Club from Robert Milton, who's a long-time season ticket holder. And he's, like many fans, post-COVID, well, we're not post-COVID, obviously, but in the days where we've moved on from having restrictions, he's concerned. He wants to stay in his own season ticket seats, but is aware that, like on Saturday, there are no social distancing measures in place. I think you said that you are reviewing COVID restrictions or things tomorrow. Is that right? And he would like to know if people are uncomfortable, what should they do? Should they contact the club? How do they go about this?
Well, as you say, Vic, it's this interesting challenges that we face. As we understand it, in terms of right now, in terms of fans coming in, there are no specific restrictions around social distancing, mask wearing, etc. We have got protocols from a match day perspective in terms of interaction with players and visiting teams, with supporters and matching from that perspective. That is something we need to be aware of and we're working through. I think from a fan's perspective, the key thing really is that we have a position where you sort of manage at this stage until we get other guidance. You manage your risk. So I think if you are worried, making sure that you social distance appropriately and as best you can in the stadium, wearing your mask. If you are worried, speak to a steward. Hopefully we won't have that much space full on the 14th, but where you do and you feel there's another area which maybe is less crowded that you feel safer in, speak to a steward and we'll see what you can do, and we'll make sure the stewards are aware of the fact they may get these requests and are sympathetic to them. So it's a difficult one. I think it's one where, people need to assess and make their risks and make some choices that if they feel, a bit less comfortable, try and maybe give themselves a little bit more space from others where they can, wear masks if because that will reduce the risk for them.
Yeah, I think Saturday was an example where, certainly when we went up the stairs to the concourse and the Don Rogers, and it was absolutely packed. So the fact of the matter is, obviously, with only 2 stands open, we made the immediate discussion, well, let's get into the seats as quickly as possible. And then that's how you manage your own risk, isn't it? It's very difficult, isn't it, at these times, because some are more nervous than others. It's that simple, really.
Yeah, it is. It is very much, Vic. I think you're spot on.
Yeah, okay. This is a question from Claire. I'm going to go through as many questions as we possibly can. And I am well aware that you're probably running on fumes, I think is the expression. So we appreciate it. This is from Claire. Hi, Rob. Will fans still be able to buy an actual match day programme on the day? And has the club reached out to our lovely programme seller on...
Oh, I think I've lost Vic.
You have. Vic's down in Exeter, must be having some bad weather around there, I should think.
Yeah.
So I can ask some of the questions that we've had.
And my light cut here then a minute as well.
Sorry, Vic. Sorry, Rob.
So I had a light cut there for a minute.
Oh, right. It's not doing very well, is it? It's I think it must be the weather. So I think there's been lots of questions, and I don't know if we've covered these about the car parking. And also one's come through about, is there any money available to keep the pitch in prime condition for the season? Which it was in beautiful condition on Saturday when we were there. So that's one question.
Well, I think, Chris, the one we had just before we lost Vic was around the programmes.
Right. Okay.
The programme sellers. So shall I go for that one, and then
of course you can. Yeah.
We can work through. Bless you. Thank you for stepping in for Vic.
I'm back. I've changed devices in the modern way, so we're back. I think I was asking about Claire and programmes. I think that's where we got to.
Yes, so the team have been assessing programme options. There'll be a programme available. They've got plans for a digital programme which you can download and print off, and we're looking at that. I spoke to Sandy today, actually, who I know was worried about the role as programme seller. I said, look, we've got to work through the different options. We've got to understand what the fans' feedback is, but we still there will be a job for Sandy and the other programme sellers. There's lots we want to do in terms of interacting with fans, improving the match day experience, guiding people to the right areas, and understanding the feedback so that we can make improvements. So there'll definitely be a role and a job for Sandy, and I told her that today. We need to assess the programme options. We've been losing money on programmes. So let's have a look at the digital programme option that the team are talking about, which does mean you can still print and have a physical copy. Again, if the feedback for that is that we want something different, then we'll look at that again.
Okay, fair enough. This is from Robert. When will the new shirts start being delivered? Pay for mine online. Will they be here for the first game at home against Carlisle? I think that is in process from tomorrow, or certainly in the next couple of days, isn't it?
Yeah, it's in process. Yeah, I know we were paying as I left. The county ground earlier. We were paying more money to Puma to make sure the kit comes over in the right numbers to meet the demand, which has been fantastic. So thank you to everybody who's bought the kit, and it's gone down really, really well. And the team's done a great job on it. We're planning to get as many as we can available and in the shop ahead of the home game for people to pick up, and for it to be available on sale as well for those who've not already bought it. So and we paid a big bill to Puma just before it came through to make sure that kit comes as soon as possible.
Right, excellent. So they should be here for Carlisle, is what you're saying. Is that
That's
right?
what we're hoping for, absolutely.
Yeah, this from Anthony. Rob, wouldn't it make more sense to put the rent arrears into the value of buying the ground rather than paying it back now? That way we can free up money for players. Oh, and fan volunteers will start packing and shipping on Thursday, I've just been told. So there you are. That's cleared that one up. So what about that? There was a lot of talk with the trust and the previous owner about buying the ground from the council. So I assume with the council, you've had to, as you said earlier, come to an arrangement regarding the rent arrears. So where are we at with buying the ground then, would you say? Or is it too early to say?
Well, no, the plans are very much still the plans are that we re-enter that joint venture with the Supporters Trust on behalf of all supporters group to jointly buy the county ground. We've paid the August rent to the council. There was an agreement for the back rent. We need to relook at that with the council, because obviously some of those payments have been missed since that agreement was made. But we've had very positive discussions with Susie Kemp and her team to mean that we'll get I think a good agreement in that respect. And the council are very keen for us to progress the county ground acquisition. The Supporters Trust are, we are as well. So we want to continue to progress those discussions to live out what I was working for on the very much so on the Supporters Trust side, to see us own the county ground and start to make improvements and make sure that we know we've got a secure home, that we've been at for well over 100 years and continue at the county ground, and look to make improvements and develop and have the confidence knowing that it is Swindon Town Football Club's and its supporters and the community sort of home, and therefore that helps the investment in the ground.
Yeah, Clem was very keen to, when he came on to do this, telling us the plans he's got. But I think it's worth remembering we're 2 weeks tomorrow into Clem Morfoni's ownership of this. So,
yeah.
This is very, very early days, isn't it? So we should just, I think many of us are just grateful we've got a football club to support right now. That to me is the main thing. And, what will happen over the next few months, through your hard work, through Clem's hard work, through the hard work of the management team in terms of football. And we should actually, can I just make one point about the people who stayed without money, the likes of Dion Conroy, they deserve great credit, and the staff who work behind the scenes as well. Matty Vernon, I know, who does a lot of the maintenance work in the stadium. People like that, they deserve great credit, don't they? And we should say that on record now.
Absolutely. I mean, it's been amazing from the players and the staff that carried on working, carried on looking after our home of football during a time when they weren't being paid. So the likes of Matty and Fred, Jordan, Danny, Matt. There's so many to name. Amy, Vicky, in the backroom team, and then you've got the kit men and you've got the staff that coming in. Obviously, Steve Mildenhall did a fantastic job as well. So they're all of them are heroes, I think, for all Swindon fans. And I know Clem feels the debt of gratitude to all the great work they've done while they weren't getting paid, and they've been fantastic in responding to myself and to Clem. As we've had to really hit the ground running at pace. As we get ready for the start of the season.
Yeah. Would you be having a fan appreciation day for them at any point? Get them on the pitch?
I think it's a great idea.
Yeah, I think you should. And I think they should get a standing ovation, quite frankly. Right. This is from Daniel. Hi, Rob, if you're able to comment, would understand if not. Are you able to say whether Scott Twine compensation through tribunal sits? Was this paid to STFC before the previous owner left? Thanks. Keep up the good work. Do you know anything about that?
Yeah, so thank you for the support, which is appreciated. There are ongoing discussions with MK Dons around the compensation. So it is something that will come to the club, if you like, in the new era.
Right. Okay. So that money will come to Swindon, basically.
Yes.
Right. Fair enough. And do you know what? Are there any add-ons as far as you? I know you're going to say it's not your bag, but are there any add-ons with the Scott Twine deal that you know of or not? It's
still being agreed, I think. So there is a set formula for compensation for players that have come through the academy. That actually you can download and view from the EFL's website. But clubs can agree an amendment to that and a variation to that, and discussions are ongoing with MK Dons in respect of that compensation.
Okay. Stephen says, what is the playing budget comparable to top, middle or bottom of the league? Can you comment on that?
Yeah, no, I think we're going to have a competitive playing budget in this league. I don't think playing budget is going to be an issue for us. I think that the bigger handicap that we have is that obviously, we're starting much further down the road, because of the issues that we had and Clem only sort of becoming, taking on the stewardship of the club a couple of weeks ago, and then getting the new management team in place, new coaching team in place, and then having to acquire new players. So I think that's going to hamstring us the most, and I think we need to be patient as supporters, as to give time for Ben Garner and Scott Marshall and Scott Lindsay to work their magic on the team and the players and get them gelling. But the budget will enable us to be competitive.
Great. I think many people were impressed with the football played, certainly in the first half on Saturday. Some delightful football. And you've got the young striker in from Ipswich. Do you know of any more coming on? Again, I know you're going to say that's up to the two Bens, but are there any more on the pipeline as far as you know, in terms of strikers, things like that?
Oh yeah, look, I mean, Ben Chorley, and Ben Garner have got, really good plans. They've got a good handle on the talent that's out there that they can bring to this football club. I know they've got strong plans. I haven't got the specifics, but I think we'll see some new arrivals coming through that will support across the team where we need it.
Yeah, fair enough. This from Sean King. What is happening to the match day sponsorship money that's been paid for the cancelled matches? I'm guessing that's the last 5 or 6 at the end of last season, or the season before last, I should say. Gosh, time flies. When COVID kicked in, do we know what's happened to that, or has that disappeared, as it were?
Well, I mean, I think again at the moment we're very much tracking how do we, deal with the legacy issues, deal with the debts, and plan forward and take the clubs forward and build it onwards. I get that money will have probably gone somewhere, whether that was to pay the wages, to pay other things. Obviously the wages weren't paid for June, but they were paid for that. And the football club had bills prior, so we don't quite know where it's gone. We'll go back and we'll do a proper assessment when we have time. It takes time to work all that through, but right now, the club needs the support of every supporter. Whether that's someone turning up on the match day, season tickets, shirt sales, sponsors, and can be assured going forwards that we'll be really transparent and open as to where that money's gone.
Okay, thank you. And Daz has sent this one in. Any news on the hospitality suites that have already been paid for in the past? I guess the previous question, that was pretty much the same. Right, hang on. This is from Carol. Hello to you, Carol. Congratulations on the new role, Rob. Will there be any kind of loyalty point system introduced like previous years to allocate away tickets? I mean, obviously, when it came to big games and things like that, if there was loyalty points on your season ticket, that went a long way to guarantee you would get a ticket for, say, Man United at home in the cup, or indeed Man United away in the cup, things like that. So would that be introduced?
Well, firstly, let's hope we do get Man United away in the cup, or at home in the cup, and have a cup run, which we know we've been starved for a number of years.
Oh, what, Rob? What? Sorry, I don't understand that phrase. Cup run. If you could explain what that is, that would be fantastic. Seriously, what do you think?
We will. I mean, we're very open to receiving ideas and work through. I've not yet had the time really. As you said earlier, with everything else that's sort of coming our way, we are still firefighting, but we very much will look for loyalty for away tickets. Where we know we're going to have demand that outstrips the supply from those clubs, and we hope that's the case in a number of occasions. It's definitely something that we'll look at with the team, and now we've got experience in the team there from running it before, so it'll be definitely something that we'll look at.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned Manchester United. Those of us who live down in this particular part of the world remember that 2 games against Man United saved Exeter City, effectively. So, yes, any game against a team like that has got to be looked forward to. What's the issue? This is Colin. What's the issue over renewing season tickets online? Well, we kind of covered that. Is it technical contract legalities, non-payment of bills? I'm waiting to renew 3 and buy a 4th for the family. So, I think, just to reiterate, you can do that on the phone tomorrow, Colin. And there will be an online option later this week with payments of a debit kind. That's right, isn't it? Yeah. The payments online later this week will be through more direct debit, so minimum of 3 payments. It is all to do with the really the historic financial credibility of the club and building that back up before card acquiring companies will take on the lump sum risk, if you like, of lots of season ticket sales. From Paul, hi Rob, another question. Can somebody take on the matter of announcing what is happening about car parking permits? I know the club do not own the land, but we need some direction on this, especially when buying season tickets. And you'll be aware, of course, that a lot of people buy season tickets for the car park at the back of the town end. So what is the situation as far as you're concerned with that?
Well, the car park, we had, well, again, timing, was a bit of a challenge for us for the friendly on Saturday against Peterborough. We're planning to make the full car park available for the coming home game. So, and we'll try and make sure arrangements are similar to the ones that we've had before. But again, we'll always be open to feedback if that's not working for people.
Are there any discussions ongoing regarding family season ticket renewals, as the prices are the same for new / renewing families, unlike the individual ticket prices where discounts have been applied? So are there discussions regarding family season tickets?
Again, on all of this sort of stuff, we'll review and we'll come back. I'm very happy, Vic, if we make a note of the questions, the ones I haven't answered, then we'll review and I'll come back with an answer and an explanation, if we can't do things.
Well, there are lots of them, so I'm sure the Supporters Club will forward them on to you. Paul says, hi, Rob, congratulations on the well-deserved appointment. Can you update us on the rough debt position as found, also on projected budget to break even? Now, I've seen various figures banded about how much debt the club is in. Can you give us an idea?
Yeah, look, I mean, we're still assessing things. But if you add it up in total, then it's between, as we understand it right now, between £3.5 and £4 million in total. So it's a big number. We've got payment plans that we're starting to put in place with most of those creditors. There are a few in there that we will review and assess, because we may not think that the contracts that were entered into previously are appropriate and right. So there'll be a little bit of that, just to make sure that we are only paying what Swindon Town Football Club should pay. And we'll be using legal advice and support that Clem's brought in and made available, which will help us do that. But that's broadly where we think it is right now. But we're still really working it through and making sure that we can assess and find all of the detail that's there. As ever, things come out of the woodwork, as you might expect they do. But that's sort of the assessment of the position right now.
Are you getting any assistance from the previous owner?
No, there have been no discussions with the previous regime, and the staff that we inherit, the staff that we've taken on, as we've all said, have been fantastic and really enthusiastic and really helped us through this difficult period when there was a vacuum, if you like, of leadership as that transition happened. But there are gaps in terms of information that we're trying to assess and find out, and the staff that are there have done fantastic jobs. Have got the information they've got, but there's some gaps that they don't understand how the position occurred and what happened here or what happened there. So it's going to take us quite a while to work through all the legacy issues that we've inherited.
Sure. Okay. This is, I'm not sure who this is from, but it's a very long question, so please bear with me. All the propaganda before the takeover was of Clem Morfuni being a high roller and Axis having a £2 million turnover. However, I think it was $200 million, I think, actually, rather than pounds. However, as soon as they got in, they quickly changed their tune and encouraged the season ticket holders not to claim refunds, as the club was skint. Which is it? They can't have both ways. Was the Abramovich talk a little premature? And despite the new age of transparency, many supporters have asked this question and have been able to get an answer. Do the £230 I-followed deduction from season ticket refunds apply to under 21 tickets, under 18 tickets and concession tickets? Where are we with all that then? I mean, I'm guessing that Clem Morfuni's pockets are not endless, are they? Let's put it like that.
No, they're not endless. And I think Clem's always said, he's not an Abramovich. He's not a sugar daddy. We shouldn't look at him that way. He's someone who has stepped forward to save our club. I think, as you said earlier, Vic. Yes, and he's putting his money in his pocket. He's already put significant amounts of money into this club to pay the debts that were coming in on a daily basis. As we landed, really, and to make sure that the wages, the back wages were paid, the wages were paid on time. The council started getting their rent. So he's done and significant sums have already been invested by Clem to keep the club sort of going. But it's so important that we turn it around and we get the revenue flows coming in from the supporters so that we can maintain and we can build on, what Clem's done already. He can't do it all. We have to help him. We have to support him. And albeit it's difficult, and as I said before, we will look at refunds for those in financial hardship, but we really encourage anybody who can to sort of, if you like, reinvest those refunds into the club, buy your season tickets again, because we really need your help. We really need to sort of take this club forward together. Clem can't do it all on his own, you know, and if we can build forward and have a competitive team on the pitch, you know, that is really important. We have restrictions, you know, on what we can spend on the playing budget. You know, it's restricted to 50% of your turnover. And therefore, that's why season tickets and match day sales are so important. And equally, why, you know, minimising the refunds, is really important as well, because not only does it help build the financial sustainability and rebuild of the club, but it also enables it to be more competitive on the pitch as well, with the restrictions that are in place from the EFL from a salary and overarching perspective.
But I think you've already said, the club's already said that if you are facing financial hardship and you want your money back, then to get in touch via email, I think it's fair to say, isn't it?
Yeah.
Do you know what that email is off the top of your head? Is it info at?
Yeah, I think it's info@swindontownfc.co.uk, but you can call in as well. And we said, look, you know, we'll assess them. You know, we've said that, you know, we'll, because of the cash flows issues that we've inherited, you know, if people can wait off until I think we said the beginning of January, end of December, that'd be great. But we'll listen and assess stories. But again, you know, if everyone that possibly can waive their refunds to reinvest back in the club. I think Plymouth, the team down your road, I looked at it. I think they had 97% of supporters that waived their refunds. You know, bought new season tickets, respecting the fact that, you know, COVID had hit football clubs really, really hard, and that's a really well-run club. Let alone a club that has had the historic issues that we've had.
This is from Jack, and I don't think he means it in a bad way. It's a question actually many people are wondering. When does Clem go home? Is he here for a while, or what's happening with him?
Well, I think his wife's asking that question as well. I think
is he enjoying himself too much, perhaps?
He is enjoying himself. Look, he loves football, you know, and what he says is true. He absolutely loves football, and he loves Swindon Town Football Club. He's grown in love with it over the last 6 years or so that he's been associated. So I think his current plan, and I think he's trying to work through options on flights, because there's not the same regularity of flights to Australia because of COVID, and the fact obviously the restrictions in Australia are much tighter than many other places. I think he's looking mid-September currently, but that could flex with availability of flights and stuff like that. And obviously when he goes back, he's got to isolate in a hotel for 2 weeks.
So he's got plenty of time to come on one of these then, is what you're saying. This from Dean. Hi, Rob. Are you planning on offering a £10 tickets deal for nationwide employees again this season, following on from previous seasons? And there's a cross fingers emoji as well with that one. So I don't know where you stand on that.
Well, I think we're in discussions with Nationwide, and we're hoping that Nationwide stay on board as sponsors of the Don Rogers stand. So hopefully that will continue, but very much as much as in our hands, in Nationwide's hands as well, which sounds a bit odd of me saying that, given that I'm currently got a foot in both camps. Right.
Okay. Fair enough. Right. I'm just scrolling through them, so please bear with me. It's from Helen. Can we have a handrail in the first block of Arkle stand for people with disabilities to get to seats? Because these are the things really that, you know, you want to know about, don't you? And unless people tell you this, this is, I'd second this, would be good to have similar rails in the Don Rogers. So you want to know about things like this. And I know, again, go back to Exeter City, their senior Reds have put in handrails in one of their main stands. And they've been extremely helpful for people. So, you know, that kind of thing, where do you stand on that? It is great feedback to know that, isn't it?
Yeah, fantastic feedback to know that, and we'll definitely make those improvements. So we've already had Lee in, who chairs the Disabled Supporters Club. He's come in, and we've talked through some immediate improvements and changes that we need to make to the disabled facilities. Handrails is one that we'll definitely look at if we can get a bit more specifics. Exactly where, maybe Lee can help us with that, then we'll definitely look to make those improvements as soon as we can.
Great. This is from John. Hi, Rob. When will the season cards be sent out for those who've asked for season cards instead of a QR code on their phones? Because you'll be aware that not many people, not everybody is tech savvy, and a lot of people just want the physical card in their hand. So when do we know if they're being sent out? When are they going to be sent out?
I don't know. I'll have to come back on that one.
Right. Okay.
Send that one through and I'll confirm.
Okay. Fair enough. Oh God, this from Zed Andrews. Why is Clem Morfuni not clearing all the debt? He only paid £200,000 for the club.
Well, I mean, £200,000 is what Clem paid, but it's the debts that you inherit that is the issue, and the debts are absolutely significant. So as we said before, he hasn't got a bottomless pit of money. So we are clearing what we can on a sensible basis. As I said, he's already, invested a significant amount of money. We're getting close to, a 7-figure sum that he's invested already in the last couple of weeks. We've got to be sensible financially. We've got to stabilise the club, pay back who we need to pay back, and get the club generating revenue and money coming in. That's the important piece. As I said before, Clem can't do it all on his own. We have to help him. We have to respond in buying season tickets, buying match day tickets, buying kit, and really support. And then going forwards, we can get ourselves back on an even keel. We'll be fully transparent as to where people's hard-earned money is invested and where it's gone. As we work through and as we, are able to sort of prepare the accounts and get those published.
From Dan, what's the EFL stance on iFollow streaming for matches 21-22 season? Will it go back to the situation pre-COVID where you have to be outside the UK to be able to stream matches? Because obviously you'll be aware during COVID, all matches were available within the UK. Do you know if that's changing, or is it going to stay the same as it was last year?
I think it's changing. I think I know the EFL are engaging with clubs to get feedback right now on how the iFollow will work. I don't think we've got the results of it yet, but I think it's more than likely to go back to be more similar to where it was before COVID hit, as I understand it, but it hasn't been confirmed, and they are asking some feedback from clubs right now.
Right, which is interesting, because bearing in mind what we said earlier about people feeling uncomfortable, not everybody will feel comfortable about going to away games. So it seems to me sensible to be able to get it on iFollow, doesn't it? This is from Alan, and I think many people are always not look forward to this, but it's one of the most emotional parts of the season. Will there be a roll call before kickoff against Carlisle for our supporters who sadly passed away? And where we sit, somebody that we've known for a long time sadly passed away in the last few months, and it was always one of the great moments of the season in terms of acknowledging those names of people you don't necessarily know the names of, but are given a lifetime of support to the club. Would you be doing that at the start of this season, in the middle? You got any thoughts on that?
No, we definitely got plans to do it on the home game against Carlisle.
Right. Brilliant.
To put that roller van out there and name and give the respect that all of those fans deserve, that as sadly passed away, that supported our clubs hopefully for a number of years, and for those that sadly might have been a shorter period, but that will definitely happen for the Carlisle game.
Fantastic. And what should people do then? Should they get in touch with the club and just just email and say, I'd like to remember,
and we'll make sure it's on the list. And look, if for whatever reason any are missed off, and I hope that isn't the case, but there is, then we'll do a subsequent roll of on call as well. Fantastic.
That's really good to know. This from Claire: are the trust going to sell shares to help buy the county ground along with the club for supporters to own a piece of the ground, as mentioned in the past? I know you're not on the trust board anymore, but you'll be aware of how it was all going to work. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, look, I think that the trust has always planned was to get as many as supporters engaged, involved, and feeling that they owned a bit of the county ground. It's one, obviously, I've had to resign my position as vice chair of the trust and from the trust board, given the conflict of being CEO of Swindon Town Football Club at the same time. Obviously, we've still got very strong relations, with the trust and the supporters club, so it's one for them. But I think we want supporters to feel that they do own part of the county ground. And the whole idea of the JV is that the legacy of the ground, is survived and is looked after for generations to come.
Right, let's have a look. From Lee, a massive thank you to you and Rob, to you, Rob and Clem. Has there been any new and returning sponsors to the club? I mean, you'll be aware, of course, at the end of there were one or two sponsors who pulled out because of the previous regime. Are there signs that they might be coming back?
Yeah, the sponsors have responded really, really well. So we've got some really positive discussions going on with a number of the previous sponsors and some new sponsors as well. And we're working really hard to get sponsors on board, make it clear to them that we're dealing with a new era here where we want to work proactively with the sponsors to make any sponsorship agreement beneficial for the sponsors as well as for the club. Because the sponsors are absolutely vital to help the rebuild and get the club back on sound financial footing and to make it sustainable going forward. So very much so, and positive discussions to date with a number of previous sponsors.
Another thing which concerns people, this from Andrew, is the club likely to be hit with the points deduction or other sanctions due to the previous owner. When will we know what's going to happen with that? And what is your best guess on what the Football League might do?
Well, I mean, I think we don't know right now. We know obviously it's the FA charges to begin with, and their investigation is ongoing. We know they've asked the information from the varying court cases. I think the FA, decide, and then the EFL decide to take action on a secondary basis. What we will continue to, make really clear is that we believe that any charges, any wrongdoing, if it is found, any charges. And any penalties should be levied against the individuals involved, not the football club. We've got a new era here. We've got a change of ownership. Someone, as you said, Vic, has taken the club on and rescued our club really, and is building it back up. And I don't think it's fair and appropriate for him to pay for those if there is any legacy wrongdoing. And as we've always said, and albeit we said before back in 1990, it fell on deaf ears. Supporters and players shouldn't fall foul of that wrongdoing as well. It should be very much aimed at individuals, and we'll keep through on that basis. What I do know is that Clem has lined up a very strong legal team to fight any position as it might be necessary.
Just a couple more minutes left, so I'm conscious that you want to go and have a cup of tea or something.
Have some dinner.
Yeah, quite. This from Dan. Can you please reopen the first section of the Arkle stand? Many fans lost their seats a couple of years ago and would like to move to their seats again. Any plans on that? Or have you not got round to it?
We want to open as much parts of the ground as we possibly can because we want to fill the ground. So we'll definitely look at that. We want to be in a position where we, for home games when we're not playing, if you like, the likes of Rovers and stuff like that we open the Stratton Bank. So definitely look at that one, and we want to try and open as much as the county ground as possible to get it in, to make the atmosphere feel like that. That home game against Exeter City back in the 1920 season when we're getting close to capacity. We want to fill the county ground, so we definitely look at that, and we want to reopen as much as possible. All comes back to demand and making it sustainable and working it through. But for example, we are going to do some works on the Stratton Bank. So hopefully, if we have demand that is sufficient for the game against Carlisle, we're in a position to open that stand.
Fantastic. I'll ask you this in a minute, but it's from Jeff, and I don't know if you know it straight away, but I've got a couple more questions to get to, but I'll give you it so you know the information he wants. What is the phone number for season ticket sales? So I'll ask you to give that at the end if you know it, because it's not until tomorrow.
Don't know it yet, so
okay,
but it will be out tomorrow.
Okay, fair enough, and that'll be presumably released through the emails or websites or whatever.
Yeah.
Daniel says, "Will anybody else be coming in as a director? Do we know?"
I think that's something that Clem will assess on an ongoing basis, looking for people that can help and support the club. No immediate plans right now, but I know that'll be something he'll be looking at.
Okay, from Mark, will the iFollow extended highlights still be running? Well, as you said, I think the EFL are looking at that at the moment, and so that's still to come. From Kerry, more women's merchandise clothing range, please.
Yeah, no, we've had that question before, and I've asked the team to sort of do a survey out there so we can assess demand. If we get the right levels of demand, then I'd love to be able to put that option available. It comes with certain costs we've got, so I can't promise or guarantee it, but it's definitely something that we are keen to look at doing. And if we can find a way to make it sustainable, then we'd love to be able to do it.
Okay, do you know when the squad numbers and club captain will be announced? That's with Matthew. Any idea?
I don't know exactly.
Okay.
So it's very much firefighting right now. So some of the stuff I should do, but I don't have them all. But we'll I'm sure it will be soon, given that we've got the game coming up.
Yeah, we've got a game on Saturday. Yeah, can I post a check for to renew season tickets? That's from Kathy.
Yeah, I think that I would imagine that would be fine if Kathy wants to go through that option. Again, if you contact the club, we can work through that option.
Colin says, can I pay for season ticket renewal in full up front online? Not interested in finance option.
Not right now because of the issues that we've got with the card acquiring companies, which is an understandable position from their perspective. But you should be able to telephone in from tomorrow.
From Ty Belford, when can we expect delivery of the new tops ordered online? Keep up the good work. That's this week, isn't it? Yeah. I think we've said.
Start to come in.
Yeah. And Simon says, will you be doing my first game initiative this season? Thanks.
Yeah, I think we'll be definitely looking at my first game initiative, and we want to do more as well. So keen to engage more and more, young supporters, getting to build up the supporter base. We'll be coming out with our match day ticket prices shortly. So hopefully they'll competitive and support getting more fans into the county ground. But one I'll pick up the team is definitely something we want to continue with and build on.
Okay, and finally, this from Rob. Highworth training ground, ditch it in my view. I don't think you've got anything to do with that, have you?
No, so Clemcombe didn't have anything to do with the legacy of it. We are assessing the position because obviously the football club have been historically involved in it, because I think the planning application is in its name. So it's something that we're assessing with the legal team that Clem's brought in, who are really, really good. But it's nothing directly involved with Clem, and obviously it's still subject to court proceedings in Standing versus Power, which obviously is due in early September.
Thank you very much indeed, Rob. I really appreciate the time, because I know it's extraordinarily busy and you are juggling 2 jobs, it appears, at the moment, which is incredible. And I'd just like to say how wonderful it is to get information to everybody at the same time. I think it's just so important that everybody's included and not singled out, if you see what I mean. So I think the club should be congratulated on doing that, and you should be congratulated with the job that you're doing. So many, many thanks for joining us tonight. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Vic, and thank you, Chris. Look, what I would say, again, big thanks to the team behind the scenes who are working tirelessly to get everything ready. As we said, we should do that appreciation day for them and the players and coaching staff who work without pay. But, they're the real stars of the show, because they're really just cracking on and trying to get everything ready and respond as best we can to all the feedback. But do please send us the questions that I haven't answered fully or in the right way, and we'll do our best to get back to you on those as soon as possible, so you can post them out so everybody can see that. Thank you for having me on. That's been really appreciated.
Just finally, any plans for match day mascots for kids? Thinking of doing it for my daughter for her birthday. Will there be any details on this? That from Lee. That is the last question, I promise.
That's all right. we are planning to do match day mascots for kids. I think COVID protocols means it will be slightly different, but it will be there. And they will have interaction with players, but there's slightly different protocols and arrangements to follow that we're working through, but it will be available.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. Wow, Chris, I think we covered everything but the we didn't get the International Space Station in there, but we can do that next time, maybe.
It's been absolutely wonderful. Thanks ever so much, Rob. What I'll do is, because we've had loads of questions, so what I'll do is I'll collate them all, and then we can look at the ones that haven't been asked and just reiterate the phone numbers and emails and things like that. So we'll do that and do that. But thank you very much. It's been wonderful. And thank you, Vic. And please don't go down again, because I know now that I'm not a host. I lost where you were.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. I quickly switched devices. So
no, that's fine. That's absolutely fine. So brilliant. Thanks so much, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Again, we had over 300 viewers, so thank you all for that. If there is any questions and you're a member of the supporters club, you know the email to send it to, admin@stfc-osc.co.uk, and we can certainly collate those and pass those on to the club. If you aren't a member, why are you not a member? You can go to the website and order that as well. So thanks very much, everybody, and we'll see you again soon. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.